Game Recap Episode 1, Summoning of the Judge of the Gate.
Joe called a shade from the supernal realm. It appeared as two skeletons sharing a single spine. After Joe overcame the challenge set forth from the higher being, they discussed an agreement. Joe would gain the magical knowledge of a rote he had sought out, and the creature would be granted unrestricted access to Joe's senses for the following year.
Abyssal Poisoning.
In the Hopeport Hospital, Dr. Templar was nearing the end of his shift. Another mass outbreak of what had seemed as food poisoning had struck the sleepers en masse again. A new restaurant, this made the fourth in weeks. One patient stood out though, exceptionally pale and doubling over. Samples had been taken to the lab to find the cause already. Raphael Templar called on the Life Arcanum to discover the lining of the man's stomach had been corrupted by paradoxical magic and was converting to another life of its own. Working quickly, Raphael expelled the corrupted tissue and healed the patient's lost organ. But this was something he needed to share with his Cabal mates.
At the Satellite University site.
At the local university, Daniel Cole, known as Thor to his Cabal mates, worked his sleeper job as a professor of mythology. As he made his way to get lunch, Thor sensed a fluctuation of power. Rushing to investigate, he encountered not only one of the students experiencing an awakening, but Chelsea as well. Chelsea was a seer of the throne that was at odds with his Cabal. Not wanting to make a scene, Thor and Chelsea agreed to settle things with an arcane duel in a few days' time. They bound to the agreement under an oath and set the duel a few days from then.
At the Sanctum.
The Cabal assembles that evening to go over the events of the day. Joe is aghast at Thor's agreement with Chelsea to duel over the fate of a newly awakened. Which leads to the question, what do the Knights of Hope stand for? They agreed on the following. Make the town safe and prosperous for sleepers. Confront to the seers. Martyr's resting place. Afterwards, it is decided that the Cabal needs to examine the samples took from the abyssal patient at the hospital.
Mystery Lab.
After a few choice rituals, namely linking minds through telepathy, as well, Joe and Thor taking a shadow form, the Cabal returned the hospital to examine the samples taken. The Cabal was able to reach the lab and find the samples. Peeling back mysteries on the samples, they are each able to learn that the paradox happened when a mage attempted to purify water that had been corrupted to something else. That something was connected once again to the scarlet venom. Not all was perfect though. In the distraction, the shadow form was lost. Thor and Joe were seen, if only for a moment, by two sleepers.
Gathering of the Awakened Minds.
With the town of Hopeport becoming an attractive place for Cabals, an assembly was held on how to govern the influx into the mage community. In attendance was the three current Cabals of the town. The players' Cabal of Night Hope, the Iron Fangs and the Rivers of Knowledge. As well, some independent mages, and order representatives. The meeting began with Aisha, a member of the Silver Ladder, explaining the reason for gathering everyone. Stating her opinion that Hopeport designate itself as an independent mage city with permissions to self-govern by the orders of the Pentacle. This idea was countered by Father Ian McConnell, who feels that the town of Hopeport is too small for such a thing and should leave political matters to be handled under the shadow of a nearby city. After much debate and a vote, nothing was finalized. A new vote is set for 30 days from now.
Hopeport is a paid online Mage the Awakening campaign, played weekly on Monday evenings. To book a seat at the table or just to find more details, you may click the links in the description below. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the tale so far. This was a Warlock's Sanctum production.